Welcome back, legends. Today we have the LA Baker review coming at you. So this was reduced at £5.50 a gram, and I think originally this was £8.50. Now I tried the previous batch of Kasa Verde and let's just say I wasn't the biggest fan. So let's get into this one. The lineage on this one I think was a little bit of a confusion. Two lineages on this that was a possible contender. So we had LA Kush Cake cross Jungle Cake, and then we had the cookies cross sorbet. Now initially I thought it was the Jungle Cake cross, and now I feel like I'm starting to think it may be the cookies and cross sorbet. Now the reasoning why is because I would say that both the genetics of those strains feel very, in a sense, similar with the creaminess and the vanilla. It's why I think I got a little confused and might still be confused now. But I do think it does lean just slightly more onto that cookies and sorbet side. Either way, when the flavour does come through, even though it's muted, it is quite nice. I have quite enjoyed the flavour on this one. Let's get into the flavour first. So overall, I'm going to rate the flavour a 6 out of 10. Again, this one for me was a bit of a rough one. This was quite muted. Now occasionally I do get a little bit more of a flavour coming through on this. And when it does, it is quite nice. It's the flavours that I enjoy. It's the sort of vanilla, slight cakey, almost a pastry sort of flavour. And it has this slight citrus berry, but very, 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 very minute, that comes through on it. I also get a slight nuttiness too, which again, I really enjoy that sort of nuttiness. I tend to have quite nuttiness in the strains that I enjoy. But yeah, overall, I get more of this creamy vanilla pastry as the main flavour. Even though it's muted, that's the main flavour of the flour that I'm getting. So yeah, overall, I said a 6 out of 10. It wasn't overly potent. Again, it was there just about, and it peeked through a little bit more at times. But yeah, the flavour on this, again, did let me down. And thinking back to the other Kasa Verde strains that I had the white cookies, the gazerpal and the Singapore sling, and all three of them, I think the gazerpal was the best, albeit not my terpenes. That was quite potent in flavour. I wasn't very impressed by the Kasa Verde range that I had previously. And whilst, yes, I did pay this on a cheaper price on reduced, I'm still not very impressed with this. This is cultivated in Canada by Green Carrot / Kasa Verde, and it is packaged in the UK by Zeal. If you'd seen my unboxing, these are fairly good looking flowers, I would say, and they're very, very dense. And again, like I said, if you saw my unboxing, it was 0.2 underweight. Now 0.2 is not heavily underweight, but then again, it's 0.2 that could have been in my Ruby Twist in my bowl. So going on to the effects, again, I think the effects on this I would rate a 6 still. What effects were there? I was slightly heavy-eyed, but it wasn't anything very sedating. It was definitely, whilst this says it's a hybrid, I feel this leans slightly more onto the indica side, only just slightly. It's not really strong couch lock or anything, but it does seem a heavier-eyed sort of medication. For me, this was slightly calming and it had a sort of a euphoric feel to it, but again, the effects really didn't last long for me, so that really did let me down, and I needed to keep coming back and topping up on my medication. As I said, going back to the bag of pill, they were lovely dense nugs. The bag of pill it did look decent. The only thing at the outside was it was so dense, and it was very, very tightly trimmed. I don't think it was harshly machine trimmed. I don't see any excess of holes or anything like that, but it is very, very tightly trimmed. So looking at it through the microscope, I could see a lot more intact heads on the inside, a lot more. It was heavily intact inside rather than the outside. While saying it wasn't heavily machine trimmed or anything, there was slight damage and degradation from the heads on the outside. But like I said, on the inside, it was much better quality. Again, a range of cloudy to amber trichomes. Overall, it looked fairly healthy on the inside. I didn't see anything that sort of raised alarm bells too much. But yeah, it was just very, very dense bud. I know I like my boulders, but these were extremely dense boulders. You saw my, I think if you saw my opening on the channel, I think I dropped it on the desk and you could hear that a mile off. Overall, I think honestly, I will give this strain a 5.5 out of 10. I really didn't enjoy this one with the lack of flavour and the effects that I needed to keep coming back to. It just didn't cut it for me, and still at £5.50 there's better options out there on the market. So I think honestly this one wasn't for me, and I definitely wouldn't reorder it again, especially not for this price. Would I get it for cheaper? Maybe if it was in the £3-4 region, maybe, but at this price, no. Again, as always, people, let me know in the comments, have you tried this one? Have you tried it at the reduced price? And what did you think? See you guys on the next one. Stay medicated as always. I'm off.